At 2:03 in the morning, a phone lit up with a new message. The message came from a 24-year-old woman named Emily Carter. It was sent to her best friend, and it contained only 4 words. I think someone is here. 9 minutes later, Emily's phone stopped responding. By the time it was morning, Emily Carter had vanished. She was never seen again. At first, investigators assumed Emily may have stepped out briefly. But when the police entered her apartment later that day, something immediately felt wrong. Because the door was still locked from the inside. There was no sign of forced entry, no broken windows, no sign of a struggle, and yet Emily Carter was gone. But there is one detail about that final message investigators still cannot explain. Emily Carter lived alone in a small second-floor apartment in a quiet residential building. Friends describe her as cautious and organized. She worked during the day and usually spent evenings at home. The night she disappeared had started normally. Emily returned home from work around 7 p.m. She ordered a dinner, watched her television, and exchanged messages with friends. Nothing about the evening suggested anything unusual, until shortly after 2 a.m. At 2:03 a.m., Emily sent the message. I think someone's here. Her friend later said the message immediately felt very strange. Emily really sounded alarmed. Concerned, her friend tried calling her immediately, but the call went straight to a voicemail. She sent another text asking if everything was okay. There was no reply. 9 minutes later, Emily's phone stopped transmitting any signal. And this is where the details begin to matter. Because remember, Emily had just sent a message saying someone might be inside her home. Yet, investigators would later find no evidence anyone had broken in, which raises an unsettling question. If someone was here. How did they get inside? When the police entered Emily's apartment later that morning, everything appeared almost untouched. Her purse was still on the table. Her shoes were beside the door. The television was still playing quietly in the living room. But Emily's phone was missing. And there was another detail investigators noticed immediately. The front door had been locked from the inside. Investigators soon tuned to the built-in security cameras. Footage from earlier that evening showed Emily returning home around 7:12 p.m. and no one appeared to follow her. But one camera captured something unusual later that night. At 2:11 a.m., a figure appeared briefly in the hallway outside Emily's apartment. The person stood near her door for only a few seconds, then stepped out of frame. Moments later, Emily's phone signal disappeared. Over the years, investigators and observers have proposed several explanations. One theory suggests Emily may have mistaken a noise outside her apartment for someone inside. Another possibility is that the person seen in the hallway may have knocked on her door. If Emily recognized the person, she may have opened the door willingly. Others believed the unidentified figure in the hallway could be directly connected to her disappearance. But without clearer footage and without Emily's phone, the true sequence of events remain uncertain. What happened during those 9 minutes between the message and the loss of her phone signal remains a mystery. Some believed Emily may have left the apartment voluntarily. Others believe something happened inside the apartment that night that investigators never discovered. But one fact remains unchanged. The last message Emily Carter ever sent was, "I think someone is here." So, what do you think happened? Did Emily open the door for someone she had recognized? Did she leave the apartment voluntarily? Or did something happen in those 9 minutes that investigators were never able to uncover? But this isn't the only mystery investigators still struggle to explain. In another case file, a man into a hotel late at night. Security cameras recorded him entered his room, bought by money. The room was empty, and no one ever saw him leave. That mystery is another fire in midnight fires, because some stories don't sleep.